guys. We are continuing to read Strangers, starting with chapter 22. Where's it go? Emma asked breathlessly. This is Finn, by the way. What do you see back there? Finn said, it's too dark to see. The darkness was awful. It was the thick kind that made Finn think of spiders and snakes, and he wasn't afraid of creepy crawly things. But the space that had opened up behind the secret door had damp air like he'd encountered in other people's basements, the kind that were full of centipedes and millipedes and pillbugs. The air had a strange smell to it, too. Maybe the space behind the bookcase was full of dead centipedes and millipedes and pillbugs. Maybe dead rats and mice, too. Maybe even dead humans, Finn thought. And then he decided he had to stop scaring himself. Where's the nearest flashlight? Natalie said. I'll find one, Finn volunteered, scrambling back from the edge of the bookcase. It was a relief to be away from the darkness, away from the scary air. Emma and Chase were still jumbled up on the floor, their faces stunned and confused. Did you look for a light switch? Emma asked. How can I look when there's nothing to see but darkness? Finn asked, stepping past her. You use your hands. Look with your fingers. Why don't you? Finn asked. Emma being Emma, she actually stood up, walked over to the opening behind the bookcase. She ducked down and stepped into the darkness. Emma! Finn screeched. Emma turned around, but only to reach up and feel around on the other side of the wall. What if something bites you? Finn wanted to shout at her. What if there's a mousetrap back there? Or... Here it is, Emma said. She must have hit a switch because suddenly light glowed around her. Oh good, Finn said. I didn't know where the flashlights were anyway. Chess and Natalie were already rushing towards the opening. Both of them had to hunch over and touch their hands to the floor to duck through the secret doorway. It was really more like a half doorway. At least Finn only had to bob his head to the side and then back up again as he scrambled after them. He stepped into the secret room and joined the others in looking around and around. And despite the smell, the room he stood in now was clean and neat with no evidence of bugs, dead or otherwise. The walls were lined with shelves, unlike the shelves in the boring room. These shelves were packed. Finn saw cartons of Campbell's soups and ramen noodles, bundles of water bottles, peanut butter jars. He saw row after row of canned peas, tuna fish, pear slices, applesauce, mandarin oranges, and corn. It's just a pantry, Finn said in dismay. We have something as cool as a secret room hidden under our house, and Mom just uses it to store food. And old shoes, Emma said, pointing to a stack of shoeboxes Finn hadn't noticed. Maybe they were full of spare new shoes. Finn saw that the picture on the side of the nearest shoebox was of the very same sneakers he wore on his feet. What if they aren't shoes inside? Chess asked. He lifted the lid of one of the boxes and said, Ooh. Finn rushed over beside his brother and peered into the box. Everything inside of it was green. Money? He said disbelievingly. It was full. It's full of money? Is every box like that? Emma asked, lifting another off the shelf. Oh no, Finn said. No. Each no came out sounding more and more like he was crying. What's wrong? Emma asked, grabbing another shoebox. It looks like we're rich. No, Finn wailed. He could barely get the words out or breathe. It looks like Mom really did rob that bank. Chapter 23. Emma. What are you talking about? Emma asked. Tyrell and Lucy yesterday. Their bus was late because there was an accident. They said they saw Mom running out of a bank carrying a big bag like she'd robbed it. Mom would never rob a bank, Chess said decisively like he was slamming a door. Not our Mom. Yesterday we thought Mom would never go away and leave us behind forever either, Emma thought. For a moment, Emma was lost. She was so lost it didn't seem like there was a single math fact that could save her. Then Natalie said, I'm pretty sure Chess is right. Your mom didn't rob a bank. Emma, Finn, and Chess all whirled towards the older girl who was rifling through the shoebox full of money after another. How do you know that? Emma challenged. Because, Natalie said, it looks like every single one of these bills is either a 1 or a 5. If someone robs a bank, they take 20s at least, probably even 50s or 100s. Why? Finn asked with a forlorn sniff. Emma knew the answer to this one. Bulk, she said. You steal $1 million in ones, you have to carry 1 million strips of paper. If you steal it in hundreds, that's still 1,000. No 10,000 bills, but that's a lot less than having to lug around $1,001. Oh yeah, she thought. Knowing math did help. Having Natalie around had helped too. Natalie was still calmly scanning through the shoebox after shoebox. If these people you're talking about, Tyrell, Lucy, saw your mom carrying a big bag out of a bank, it was probably because she had a lot of ones and fives, Natalie said, not because it was a lot of money altogether. But why would Mom want all this money here, Chess asked, or all this food and water? He tilted his head back, looked at the shelves that stretched toward the ceiling. Our whole family wouldn't eat this much food in a year. Was your mom a doomsday prepper? Natalie asked. Did she talk all the time about how society was going to fall apart? How it would be everybody for themselves, and the only people who would survive were the ones prepared ahead of time? No, Emma, Chess, and Finn said almost as one. Yeah, I guess that's stupid, Natalie said. Because if she were a doomsday prepper, she wouldn't want cash. She'd have gold bars or silver or something like that. Things you could barter with. I'm pretty sure that doomsday preppers think paper money would be worthless. When society collapses. Okay then, it's just a panic room. A what? How do you know this stuff? Don't you guys ever go online? Natalie asked. Or watch TV? Mom let us watch the Lego Batman movie the other night, Finn began, and just tell us what a panic room is, Emma said through gritted teeth. She hated not knowing these things. Okay, Natalie said, shrugging in a way that made her hair ripple down her back. Panic rooms are what rich people have in their houses, when they can go and be safe and lock themselves in if someone breaks in, or if someone is trying to kidnap them. But we're not rich, Finn protested, unless you count having shoeboxes full of $1 bills. I wouldn't count that, Natalie said. Emma wanted to add, and nobody would want to kidnap us, but her memory nagged at her. She thought the same thing before and after the kids in Arizona with the same names and ages, as Emma, Finn, and Chess had been kidnapped. Sorry. They hadn't expected it either. Emma gazed around again as the well-stocked shelves, but Mom expected something. She was preparing for some threat or danger. Emma remembered what Mom had said the day they learned about the kidnapping in Arizona. You don't have to worry about being kidnapped, I promise. I'll do everything I can to prevent that. Had Mom set up this whole room after that? Had she gotten all of the money on all the food and water the next day before leaving? And did she dig out a whole other part of our basement and build these walls and shelves in that time too? Emma wondered. That's so not logical. It'd be impossible. Anyhow, why would she have done all of that work and then just left without even telling the kids what she had done? So I wonder, Natalie began. What? Chess asked. I don't know if your mom's doomsday prepper or if this is just a panic room for some reason, Natalie said. I don't even know your mom, but either way, I think there'd be more hiding places, even inside the panic room. Like maybe for other secret things that are more valuable than food or $1 bills. Or weapons? Those doomsday preppers always have a lot of weapons. Let's look, Finn said enthusiastically. Guns, Emma thought. What'd we do if we found guns? Maybe there's something hidden behind those shelves, Natalie said, tugging on the wood frame of one that held boxes of granola bars. Chess, what do you get the bookshelves back in your mom's office to move? I'm not sure, Chess admitted with a gulp. His face looked pale as if he was just as distressed as Emma at the idea of the guns. I'll go look, Emma said. She ducked back out of the secret room and peered down at the empty bookcase door, which still hung completely open. To her surprise, Chess followed her. Chess, you didn't know Mom had this secret room down here, did you? What? No, he said. He held up his right hand. Scout's honor. Emma believed him. So when you opened the door, I was just standing on the top of the bookcase, Chess said. He peeked towards the secret room and then back at Emma. Well, I kind of kicked the wall too, but that was the mistake. He brushed his fingers against a scuff mark on the wall. And then? Is that where the shelf moved? Yes. First I tried to dig my toes in to keep from falling. That's when the shelf moved and I did fall. Then maybe it's something right where the bookshelf and the wall meet, Emma suggested. She felt along the back of the shelf. Oh. Emma's finger brushed a tiny button that looked nothing more than a small defect in the wood. The shelf began to move back towards the wall. Stop, 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 Emma screamed. She jammed her body between the shelf and the wall. Chess tugged on her arm, trying to pull her away. "What are you doing?" he yelled. "You'll get hurt." "No, Finn and Natalie will get trapped," Emma yelled back at him, keeping her shoulder wedged in place. The bookshelf door ground to a halt as soon as it touched her arm. It sagged a little, halfway open, halfway shut. "Did we break it?" I don't know." Then Natalie and Finn were there, peeking out from the secret room. "What's all the shouting about?" Natalie asked irritably. "We found the button that makes the bookshelf move," Emma told her. She looked at the awkward way the shelf tilted. "But now it may be stuck." "Worry about that later," tossing her hair over her shoulder, Natalie said. "Come see what we found." "It's a lever," Finn said excitedly. "We can all try it together." He scrunched up his face. "Do you think we're going to find guns? Remember how Mom always said she wanted to protect us from guns?" Emma didn't answer. She didn't admit how shaken she still was by the thought of Finn and Natalie being trapped in the secret room. What if the button had stopped working after that, and Emma and Chess couldn't get Natalie and Finn out? We would have told Natalie's mom, Emma thought. She would have figured out how to rescue them. They would have had plenty of food and water and money. But what if there wasn't enough air in the secret room when the door was shut? What if the lights automatically turned off? "Stop it," Emma told herself. She turned back towards the bookcase door to reassure herself that it was still open. There was nothing to worry about. Their cat Rocket, whom they totally ignored ever since arriving at the house, was just poking his head curiously into the doorway. "Scat," Emma yelled at him. You be safe." Rocket turned tail and ran away. Chess looked curiously down at Emma. "Are you okay?" he muttered. "Sure," Emma said. Then Natalie was showing them the lever. At first, Finn and I thought it was just part of the top of this, but it sticks out a little. Even though it's the same color as the wood, it's actually metal. "And if you pull it?" Chess asked. "Let's see." She reached up and eased the handle down. At first, nothing happened, but then the floor jerked forward a little, back a little, steadily forward. It made Emma think of the merry-go-round starting up. "The whole room moves," Finn crowned delightedly. "Even the walls?" Emma felt dizzy. The room was rotating, faster and faster and faster. It was like a merry-go-round when you didn't even have a horse to hang on to. Emma grabbed the side of one of the shelves. The lights blinked off and on and off again. "Where's it taking us?" she shrieked. I thought it would just be open a secret compartment," Natalie cried. "Hold on," Chess commanded. He grabbed Finn's arm and Emma's shoulder. Emma reached one hand back and clutched his hand, and then the spinning stopped. "What was that?" Finn asked. Nobody answered. Emma glanced back over her shoulder, back towards the opening where she'd seen Rocket's face just a few moments ago. But now, there wasn't an opening anymore, just rows after rows of solid shelves blocking the way out. "The door's gone," she cried. "The door's gone, and now we're all trapped." Chapter 24. Chess. Emma, Chess said, patting his sister's shoulder. "It's not gone, it just moved. Or we moved, or so it looks like we're in a different place." He pointed off to the left, where a thin sliver of light spread across the floor, like an arrow pointing towards a crack in the wall. He was still getting oriented himself. The overhead lights had gone out and come back on, flickered again. Now they were only dimly lit, like emergency lights leading out of a burning building or a crashed airplane. Okay, maybe those aren't the best comparisons to make. The floor beneath them gave a shudder, as if it were considering starting up again. "Let's get out of here," Emma cried, running toward the sliver of light in the opening. Rocket, are you okay?" Emma just began, but Finn and Natalie ran after her, as if they were just as spooked. Chess dashed for the door as well, because Emma had infected him with a sudden fear. What if the door closed and we got stuck in the secret room all by himself? What if the door closes after we're out and we never get it back open again, he thought. What if there's some secret in the hidden room that we need so we can figure out how to find Mom? Just before he stepped out, he bent down, grabbed a can of beans from the nearest shelf. He wedged the can against the door frame, so even if the door tried to shut on its own, the can would keep it propped open. He slammed headfirst into Natalie's back. "Oh, sorry," Chess mumbled. "I wasn't looking where I was." Natalie surprised him by clutching his arm. "Didn't we leave the light on in your mom's office?" she asked. Finn and Emma grabbed onto Chess as well. Chess blinked, trying to make out the familiar furniture of the boring room. The desk, the chair, the bookshelves. His eyes adjusted a little too strangely to the strangely dim light, but he couldn't get them to see anything but blank floor and empty walls. Light switch, Emma said, daring to step away and stride towards the opposite wall. She hit the wall, chest braced for the bright overhead light of the boring room to come back on. A light bulb flickered and sizzled, then steadied, but only sent out a low wattage glow. Chess looked down at the swirls on the floor, swirls of dust on an otherwise empty concrete floor. "This isn't your mom's office," Natalie cried. "We ended up in somebody else's house." Ooh. All right, stay tuned for more tomorrow.